project is about illegal drug use in the Vietnam War, and as you can see, it's a very wide topic and there are lots of different elements to it.
So my project was attempting to recreate this portrait of Edith Kington Gould, and I really wanted to recreate the dress. And another challenge I kind of gave myself was trying to recreate the dress as historically accurate as possible. So that meant using only historical techniques, or a lot of hand sewing, using as most historical fabrics as possible.
My project is about representations of Joan of Arc in arts and literature, and to what extent she's been portrayed as a figure of female empowerment.
My project is about social media, how its rise to prominence has affected the music industry.
So it's comparing statutory interpretation in England and France. So when judges have to decide a case, they'll consult the law, but sometimes it's a bit ambiguous or it leads to an absurd result. So it's the reasoning process that judges go through to ascertain the true meaning of the statute and the different approaches that the judges in each country takes.
I've always been interested in large-scale conflicts, and through school we learn a lot about World War I and II, but I find that American history has not been moved over, and the Vietnam War has always fascinated me. And through watching films such as Apocalypse Now, I found that drug use was a really influential factor that was focused on black people.
Well, I've been sewing for 9 years, and I've always loved recreating historical garments in particular. I've never challenged myself to completely copy an original garment, so that was a big challenge for me, something that really drew me. And the other thing that drew me is the original dress is actually by the couturier Worth, who was one of the biggest couture houses in the 1890s. And I've always loved his work, and I just thought this is such a lovely thing to start my
So I actually saw a BBC documentary about a painting of Mary Magdalene, and the way that she was portrayed in that image was completely different to other historical stories that had kind of come out about her, and I've just found that really interesting, how someone could be portrayed in different ways, and how that could alter people's perceptions of the truth about that historical figure. So then I turned that kind of idea into focusing on Joan of Arc instead and analysing different ways she's been portrayed.
I looked at what I enjoyed, what I want to do at uni, which is business, and then through social media, really current, really important in business, and then I love music, so I thought combine it all together, and I came up with this.
So I knew that I wanted to study English and French law at university, but I chose statutory interpretation because I entered an essay competition earlier this year, and whilst it was about a hypothetical case determining the validity of the will, this was the part that I found really, really interesting, because the judge's interpretation could actually change the entire outcome of a case. So I just wanted to look into how that level of subjectivity was.
I think something interesting was the fact that such a large quantity of soldiers did use these drugs, and most importantly heroin, yet once they returned home the addiction rate was 1% after 8 to 12 months, which just goes to show that the environment was so traumatic for these soldiers that once they were removed from this conflict and in the time of peace, the need to use these drugs just disappeared.
I gained a lot more sympathy for whoever made the original dress. It was definitely quite challenging. It was a lot harder, that's probably the most interesting fact. And I found out a lot more about kind of the research and construction methods. I learned lots of new stitches, that sort of thing, so I think that's one of my favourites.
What I found really interesting actually was the medieval proto-feminist kind of movement of artworks and literature about Joan of Arc. It was really unexpected for me to find kind of in that medieval time period, actually some works that were really empowering and kind of arguing for female empowerment and women's rights in a way that's quite modern. So that was really fascinating.
Probably the most interesting and the thing that surprised me the most would be that record labels still are important in the music industry, even with social media, because of like the resources they have and the connections they have. It can't really rival, they just have to work together.
That it was actually due to the separation of powers in each country. So after the French Revolution, a lot of restrictions were placed on French judges because they were so scared of them just doing whatever they wanted. But actually, it means there's no doctrine of precedent, which will lead to some inconsistency in judgments. So that's the bit that I found was actually a really fundamental difference between these two approaches. And that's where the English approach actually sort of edges above the French one.
My favourite part was actually making the presentation, because once you've completed all of the research, which was a long process, it was really nice to put it all together, and I enjoyed all of the colours and finding all of the kind of iconic images with the vehicle.
I think my favourite part about my project was when the books finally arrived. There had been a couple of issues with the printing, and I'd spent so long just writing it all up, and then they were finally there and they were real, and it was just like the best feeling.
Probably conducting my research, going through all my sources, finding out, like reading all the papers, finding out what was useful, and then putting it all together into an argument.
I really enjoyed actually writing my project because I spent so much time researching, because I had to actually determine my own sort of process for how judges interpret it, because it's so oversimplified when it's taught. So writing the essay was a really rewarding part where I'd done all this research and I was finally able to sort of synthesize it